could shut down the sound. "Turn up the volume," I shouted into the microphone, wondering why the men on the other end of the line were ignoring me. Greg and his team began to raise me slowly up and down in the pool, thinking it might clear my ears in much the same way increasing altitude can do on an airplane. I still couldn't hear Greg. Seconds later, I heard an irritating sound from the headset, followed by faint crackles and an obscured voice. Somebody was trying to tell me something, but I couldn't make out the words. At that point, the training ended. As I floated toward the surface, I saw Danny Olivas, a fellow trainee, at the bottom of the pool ready to demonstrate his EVA skills. I know he was thinking, "What the hell is going on with Leland?" and probably wondering if my problem would delay his training. Dr. Richard McCluskey, a NASA flight surgeon who was assisting with the exercise, was waiting for me. The technician who helped me out of my helmet was the same guy in charge of my suit fit check, the test run of all the equipment I would use the day of my underwater training. He had asked me if I needed a Valsalva device, and multiple scuba dives in the Red Sea had taught me that I could only clear my ears by blocking my nostrils, so I had said yes. The look on the doctor's face told me something had gone wrong. In fact, I saw concern on everyone's faces. They were all mouthing words without sound, and I wondered why they didn't just speak up. When Dr. McCluskey touched my right ear, I noticed the blood on his finger and began to feel it running down the side of my face. He quickly examined my ears and observed retraction of my tympanic membrane, the eardrum. Suspecting the problem occurred from the underwater change in pressure, he administered a nasal spray and politzerization, a medical procedure that involves inflating the middle ear by blowing air up the nose. Neither effort worked. I still couldn't hear. Dr. McCluskey then escorted me to the hypobaric altitude chamber, which simulates the experience of an airplane ascending in flight. At 10,000 feet, I didn't feel any different, but when the doctor tried to inflate my middle ear a second time, my ears began to clear. I could hear a little better. According to the medical records, I could hear speech from about 5 feet away. However, when the chamber brought me back to sea level, my ears became blocked again, and I was unable to hear much of anything. All I could do was sit inside the steel tube, peering through the windows at the faces of the doctors and technicians, and wonder if they felt any responsibility for damaging a member of the NASA family. After my stint in the altitude chamber, the room seemed to spin, and the walls, fixtures, and faces tumbled together in a confusing whirl. I threw up when I got to the shower. Thank goodness I made it that far. My next stop was the Flight Medicine Clinic, which wasn't far from the Space Center. The doctors there examined my ears and performed balance tests that I passed easily. Not bad for someone bleeding from his ear. Still, I couldn't hear. The doctors then had me transported to Houston Methodist Hospital, where I was examined by Dr. Bobby Alford, a renowned ear, nose, and throat specialist. He admitted me to the hospital after a battery of hearing and balance tests revealed severe bilateral hearing loss. My treatment would consist of antibiotics, antivirals, and carbon dioxide to increase blood flow to the brain. Unfortunately, my doctors could not determine the cause of my deafness. Suspect cochlear process as source of hearing loss, one of my doctor's medical reports stated. Ruptured round window possible, but unlikely. Possibilities include ruptured or damaged Reissner's membrane, patient cochlear aqueduct, vascular lesions, infections, or undetermined. Dr. Alford thought exploratory surgery might provide clues. Just hours before, I had been on top of the world, brimming with confidence. I was pursuing my future in space. Now, I lay in a recovery room, confused, disoriented, and uncertain. I watched as Dr. Alford scribbled notes on his yellow legal pad. The eardrum